Welcome to my creative Christmas series. It's that time of year again where I open up my seasonal box of craft supplies and see what I have saved from the year before. So every Christmas, I put away some of my favourite cards that people have given me, some gift wrapping paper, basically anything I think I'll be able to use to make some creative Christmas cards or gift tags or presents for the next year. So I'll save all these little scraps because, as you see here, like last year I made some gift tags using those scraps, and I also have some Christmas stamps. I used like stamps for that card for the cards, and I'm going to use them to make some new cards and gift tags this Christmas. So the first project we're going to start with is using some gift wrapping paper scraps to make a Christmas card. So I normally start by cutting out the sort of section of the gift wrap that I want to use to make my card. And I'm using an old card here. So this was a card I designed for my other business and it didn't quite work out how I wanted it to. But instead of wasting it, I am going to layer on top. And I have some scrap watercolour card. I think this was actually from a St. Patrick's Day project I was drawing. But as the watercolour card is going to be covered, it's perfect. So just use what you have. It can be like the back of a notebook cover, anything that's like a thick card, and cut it out sort of the size just a little bit smaller than the card that you're covering. So this is a square card here. You can buy card blanks in shops, or if you had like spare cards, you could maybe use them, or get like an A4 sheet of card and fold it over. You can use brown craft paper as well to make cards. If people are interested in making their own card blanks, let me know in the comments below and I will do that for them. So then you get the gift wrap is done. So I'm just going to put glue on the watercolor card that I'm using. So basically your inset, and I'm going to glue it with a little border around the edge because we're going to fold the edges around. So you can trim it so that you got the same around each of the edges, and then I'm just chopping off the corners. So similar to how when I make the notebooks, chop off those corners so that we can fold it nice and neatly. And I'm just using Pritt stick here, but any kind of glue stick we'll use will work for this project. So we're going to fold all of these little edges around. Sometimes I pre-fold them just so that I have the line, the kind of crease done, and then put a little bit of glue on it. If you didn't have a glue stick, you could use PVA glue or maybe like double-sided tape. You could probably even use a little bit of masking tape to stick this on the back if you wanted to. So glue it all down. You'll need to kind of press it as well. Some little bits might want to come up. So just press it so it's all nice and secure. Make sure there's no little parts that are going to pop up on this. And then just check that it fits on your card. And just smooth out if there's any bumps or anything like that, you can smooth that out. So then just make sure you're putting it down. And you see here, I made this because I'm hiding this design. That's why I made it the size I did. So you can make yours whatever size you want, but if it's a square card, I generally make it a square. You could even maybe add some ribbon to it if you wanted to. I probably won't because the pattern is quite busy, but you could do that as well. So you can add your own touches. But the general idea is using the gift wrap and putting the gift wrap around a blank piece of card and then sticking it down to your folded card. So again, just pop your glue stick all on the back right out to the edges, and then decide which way you want the pattern to go and glue it down. Now you might need to like press this down or put it under a heavy book. If it's if it's warping, then maybe you lay it under a heavy book or press it down to flatten it out. And then you can decide what you want to add on top. You could leave it as is. I have some Christmas stamps that I did from last year. So this is again another little envelope of supplies that I saved. And I have these stamps that I did for cards last year. So I am going to use one of those. So you can play around, see what they look like. This was a stamp that I stuck down to a kind of a red piece of card. And I just put a little bit of cardboard between the stamp and the red card just to make it kind of stand out. So that could be a nice way as well to add some kind of oomph to your card, having it stand out. You can just use a little bit of corrugated cardboard or foam board, anything that you have. So I just want to make this kind of an oval shape, and then I'm just going to stick it down to the card. Now you could leave it without anything on top of your gift wrap. This is just another kind of element that you could add, but it's a really easy way to make a DIY Christmas card, and it's going to be using supplies that you already have. And you could use magazine pages, you could use kind of any sort of seasonal wrapping paper that might work. And then another way to make this card even more eco-friendly is by putting a little paper insert in it. So I put these in my cards because then the idea is that you write inside this, send it to somebody, but the next person can just pull out this paper insert and then they write inside the card and they can send it on to somebody else. So it's a way to make your cards last even longer. They get 2 uses out of them, and then maybe the next person along might cut that card up and reuse it again. So I like the idea of it being used again and again. So this is just a scrap piece of A4 paper I had, and instead of gluing it in, what I do is I use a little bit of like washi tape, because it's easy then for the next person to remove, and the washi tape looks quite pretty. You could also just use like masking tape or sellotape if you wanted to, or a couple of glue dots. Again, just use what you have. But again, I'm going to use a little bit of this washi tape. It doesn't need an awful lot, so just putting it on one side, the center line, and then you have your card insert. So I hope that's given you some ideas or inspiration of how to make your own upcycled Christmas cards. This is just the first in the card series, and the next one you can see here a little sneak peek of. I'm going to be showing that in the next video. If there's any parts of this tutorial that you'd like to see more in detail, or like a few more tips on, just leave them in the comments below and I'd be happy to do some more detailed videos. Happy crafting!